Start happened. Okay, yeah, cool. We are recording. Awesome. So for those of you that have joined, I will say you should count yourself very lucky for these classes that we will be starting today, because I'm very confident that this is a class that is highly needed. Like as a data, like for those that are into data analytics, Power BI or Tableau are tools that you will find yourself using a lot of time. And I would say, and why I say she count yourself lucky is because of the instructor. She probably don't know how much I rate her. But as I shared those in the class last week, like she has been 2 times, and I think I shared that on the group during the week. I think I did that as well. She's been 2 times winner of the Angel Hackathon. I don't even know if that's what they call it. Is it Angel Data or Angel X or something hackathon? But anyway, this hackathon is not a, there are times that you're a local champion, and I'm not saying that to diss anybody, because you start somewhere, right? But there are times that what you winning something is much more of a big deal, because you have competed with people outside of your local space. And while I was when I started out as a software engineer, and then at the time I started transitioning into data science, AI, and the rest. I remember and it felt like, I was very, then I was still in Nigeria, and it felt like in the tech community. um Please, you should mute yourself. Rachel Folashade, mute yourself. I don't want to be muting people. If I see that you are joining and you're not muting yourself, I'm going to remove you from the call. We don't have time to be telling adults to mute themselves when they join the call. So as I was saying, I was in Nigeria at that time, and then in the tech community, it felt like, in my local space, I was up there in terms of my skills and my experience. I was up there and I was doing really well. And I remember one thing that one of my mentors told me then. He said, Yeti, don't be a one-eyed man in a land of the blind. And I think that thing has stuck with me everywhere I go. Like, I always seek for more. If I've won something or I'm gaining ground somewhere in the local space, at some point you may be the very top and experienced amidst there, but it's also good when you look outside of your circle. So back to what I was saying, right, about the instructor. There are times that you're a local champion, like you have only competed with people in your space, and like I mentioned, there is growth and room for growth for that. That's also a big deal. But when you start growing your career and you've got to a level where you're competing with people from different parts of the world and you're still winning, then that is a very much big deal. So the competition that you do between schools in Nigeria versus a competition where you're winning between schools in Africa versus a competition where you're winning between schools from all over the world, we know that there are levels to it. So I would say if you're here, if you're already here, make sure that the next 4 Saturdays you block it for these classes, because I believe that you're going to get a lot of value. And as I mentioned before, these value are things that some people pay for. It's not like, we all know that there are classes that you do that you pay for. So without further ado, I'll allow Sylvia to introduce herself to everyone, and we'll be able to start the class. So Sylvia, I'll hand over the mic to you now.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, Yeti. I don't know. I get a lot of, maybe I don't rate myself as much as people rate me, but hi everyone. My name is Sylvia, and I think I should just share screen while I'm talking. Yeah, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thanks. I hope your evening has been going well. I hope your weekend has been going well. I can't say much from my own side here. I probably don't rate myself as much as people rate me because I remember the Angel Hack monthly challenge that uh, Yeti was talking about. I know when it came out, it was a friend. I knew zero about it. It was a friend that won it last year because they do organize series of hackathon monthly, Web3 hackathons, data challenges, and they organize software challenges too. So my friends they won the software part last year. So I was in my broke era when she sent me that, and I was having exams the next week, but I needed the money. And I didn't believe in myself as much as she believed in me. I do work on dashboards using Power BI, and I do put out on Twitter. Even before I put out something on my Twitter, most of the times it would be my friends that would drag. I remember a time a friend of mine put out the dashboard I worked on Twitter, and I was feeling jealous. He was getting followers and getting a lot of questions about how he went about it, but I was in my shell. I couldn't put out anything. So I know a lot of us get this, but I get pushed a lot by my friends to put out my work, and that helped me. I won the first challenge, and the second time I was having a lot of doubt on my. I was doubting myself, and my friends also talked to me and said, that someone even said, I've never seen anyone do dashboards like you do. So the goal of this workshop session, I went through tough times to put some things together that will help um a lot of us here. Me, I'm still learning. I see myself as I'm still learning. I'm not I'm not a pro, but with what I can give you, you can be able to make out something a lot from this Power BI workshop. So this is the week one of the Power BI workshop, and it will be basically on introduction to Power BI and how you can get data in Power BI. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's basically introduction to Power BI, how you can get it set up and how you can import data sets. Those are like the little practicals we'll do today. Then next week, we'll move on to full practicals on Power BI. Okay. So a little about me. I'm a data analyst. I am a final year student of statistics. I study statistics in UI. So most of the foundation of what I do on Power BI, a little tweak of what helps me win competition is applying statistics to data sets. So I don't just see data sets and go directly into it. Sometimes statistics can help you get more insights in data. It gives you an edge against your opponents. So your opponents might be working with the literal data they have, or when I apply statistics, I get more insights. Then I get more dashboard, more charts to put in my dashboard. I use Power BI. I use Excel, I use Python and SQL. And I know the last 4 weeks you've been working on SQL, and also I saw on the workshops schedule that you work on Excel too, because you need the knowledge of Excel and SQL, but it will help you smoothen your journey in Power BI a lot. So that I don't get to like go too deep into some practical aspect of Power BI, like the data model. You've done some data mapping in SQL, and also the Excel part. I don't know. How many of you know about Power Query in Excel? I think I should come to the. If you know about Power Query in Excel, can you just drop a comment in the chat box? Um, I've not seen any chat. Not seen any message yet. Okay, so you've never used Power Query in Excel, but how many of you know that Excel has a Power Query function? It has a Power Query interface. Like, you do work on data sets on Excel, but one time there was a job interview I did. Actually, they pissed me off, so I didn't go further after we talked about it. So we were a group that came for the interview. It was an online interview, and we were meant to analyze data sets on clean data on Excel. So while others were using normal Excel data, I used Power Query, and it's like it gives you an edge and makes you clean data faster on Excel. So I'm seeing that a lot of people that have replied said no. Okay, so it means that next week class that I'll be having on Power Query, I'll just cover everything, because Power Query in Excel and Power Query in Power BI, they are almost the same thing, but the Power Query in Power BI has more features than that in Excel. It gives you an edge to work on data sets by sometimes just drag and drop, sometimes just clicking instead of getting to crack your head to work. So I'm also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, a Women Tech Staff Fellow for the 2024 classes. So we are currently in this session now, so I'm a fellow. I actively contribute. I volunteer to societies like the AI Saturdays. I also volunteer for She Codes Africa. So here I am again. I'm volunteering again for the Data Geeks uh, community. So the workshop outline, today we'll talk about introduction to Power BI. From introduction, we'll move to Power Query. Then we'll talk about data modeling, which we've done a bit of it in SQL, but we'll still do it in Power BI. Then we'll go in DAX, that's data analysis expression, all in Power BI, and we'll end the class with visualization best practices. So what are the key takeaways of this whole workshop session? So it will help you in your proficiency in Power BI. It will also help you in your data visualization skill. It will help your analytical technique, and it will also give you confidence to explore. What helped me a lot when I learned, it's not just the classes, because the classes will give you basic introduction. It's confidence to explore and knowing what you want to do with data. You have to make research. If you don't make research, you'll be left with what you have. Sometimes the data you are working with, some people have done prior research on it. So what more do they want, the stakeholders want you to do? So they probably want you to build on what people have worked on. That's another edge of winning hackathons. So let's go on with today's class. What is Power BI? We've been hearing of Power BI. People have been talking of Power BI. So what really is this Power BI? Power BI is a dynamic business analytics tool. It's from Microsoft. So it allows you to visualize and share insights from multiple platforms. There are other analytical tools. The one we are teaching today is Power BI. You can also talk about using Tableau. So both of them, they are business intelligence tools. It helps you to analyze data. It has the database features where you model your data. If you don't model your data, you can't be able to get the accurate insights you need from the data. Both Tableau and Power BI, they have those functions. It's just based on preferences. So the key features of Power BI is interactive dashboards. So you get to create interactive visuals to tell a story. Most stakeholders, that's the beauty of visualization. So it's more like the software dev world. You hear about the back-end guys, but it's always the front-end guys taking the glory, because they are the ones in the front. They are the ones that it's what they design that gets to be seen. So that's what dashboard does for you. If you work on a data set and you don't get to find a way to summarize everything for your stakeholders to see, those stakeholders, they don't really have all the time. So you must find a way to put it in such a way that, in an attractive way, and such a way that you'll be able to be communicating the insights visually. So it has drag and drop functionality. I know a lot of people run away from coding. So Power BI is a way of running away from, is your safe zone. You don't always have to code. Yeah, people talk about the DAX and all that. But if you know the basic DAX functions, for the meantime, you're okay until you get to be exploring for more functions and how to crack complex data sets. And then you get real-time analytics. That's you get to connect to multiple data sources and you get real-time. There is a kind of dashboard that you build that if the data set is being updated with time. So far you've built the default model and you get it. It happened with the COVID dashboard. There was a COVID dashboard I built with Excel. So as every day, the data set is on GitHub. So every day they are updating the data set. As the data set is updating, it is also updating on your dashboard. So you don't need to be rebuilding dashboards, right? So these are the features that Power BI gives you. And the last one is the DAX, the data analysis expression. This is basically formula language for creating custom calculation. The components of Power BI, talk about the Power BI desktop. This is basically the one you'll be using. This is what you need to work on data sets, to create your dashboard. After working on your data set on the Power BI desktop, you talk about publishing it to the Power BI service. It's an online software as a service. You can edit dashboard you can edit dashboard on Power BI service. If you created a report, you can also create dashboard from a report on Power BI service. And we talk about the Power BI mobile. It's an app for Windows, iOS and mobile device and Android devices. If you go to your Play Store or your Apple Store, you get to see the Power BI mobile. But be careful. You cannot, just note that you cannot build dashboard on Power BI mobile. The only thing you can do is to consume the dashboard. That's if you build dashboard on your Power BI desktop and you have published to your service, you can access everything on your Power BI mobile. It's just for you to view it. It's not meant for you to use and build your dashboard or edit your dashboard. So this is how this is the interface of the Power BI components. Here we're talking about the Power BI desktop, from desktop to service, and then you're talking about the Power BI mobile. I know that a lot of us have installed Power BI. So if you've not installed Power BI here, can you please can you specify? Because I know that the link to install Power BI was shared to the group, but there are other ways you can install Power BI. If you're having issues installing Power BI from the from the website, you can also install Power BI from Microsoft Store. That's if your Microsoft account is set up in your Windows, you go to your Microsoft Store. It works just like your Play Store and your iOS Store. So if you go to the Microsoft Store, you search for Power BI, you see Power BI desktop, just click on Get. You'll be able to install Power BI on your system. That way, it helps you also. If there's an update, you can always go to Microsoft Store and update your Power BI. The third way of getting it, but before getting this one, you have to have a Power BI service. A Power BI service account is paid. So when you have a Power BI service, you see an interface where it clicks on install Power BI. But the best way to do it is to use the website or the Microsoft Store. Yeah. This is what the Microsoft Store interface for Power BI looks like. I had to screenshot my system's interface for this one. It's showing launch because it's already installed in my system. If it's not installed, you are going to see Get. So when you click on Get, it installs Power BI desktop in your system. So the building blocks of Power BI, we talk about the data sets, we talk about the reports, we talk about the dashboards. I know you hear me saying dashboards and you hear me saying reports. Some people confuse the two of them. A dashboard can be a report, but a report is not a dashboard. A report can be sorry. A report can be a dashboard, but a dashboard cannot be a report. Why? Because a report can be a page and more. You can have 2, 3, 4 pages and you call it reports. But a dashboard is always a single page. A single page that summarizes everything you have. Let's say there's a report I have on the Pokemon analysis, and it's a 4-page report. If I want to build a dashboard out of that report, I can make it a 1-page that summarizes everything that I've seen or talk about, right? Or if you build a report and publish it to your Power BI service, you can build dashboard out of that report. Like if you see each tile of the report, if each chart, you can click on it and pin it to a dashboard. When you pin 3 or 4 in a dashboard, you form the dashboard out of the report. And the next one is tiles. Tiles are individual charts on your report or your dashboard. Those are the building blocks of your Power BI. Now there is a famous abbreviation used in Power BI. We call it ETL. Is a short form for extraction, transform, and load. This is like the summary of everything you are doing in Power BI. Extract helps you connect to various data sources, either Excel or you are using CSV format, or even if you want to do web scraping, yes, you can scrape web, data from the web using Power BI. You can even do it with Excel. You can connect to the website and get a tabular data directly from the website instead of having to download the data sets to your system. Or you can connect to your database and get data from your database. That's where extract comes in. Then you talk about transform. Yeah, Power BI, this is where your Power Query comes in, because transform is all about your data cleaning, your data transformation, and everything that has to do with you trying to get your data ready for analysis. That's where Power Query comes to your rescue. They were talking about load. And after transformation, which is the second stage, you get the data loaded for into Power BI's data model, where you get to connect the necessary connections you need to do and build your dashboard. So Power BI desktop interface, it has three basic views. You have your report view, you have your data view, and you have your model view. All these things I'm saying, I'll still go to Power BI and we'll check everything. So it won't be like I'm loading you with a lot of information. Resources for learning. After this class today, and if you want to know more, which of course you should stay ahead of the class and get to so that you'll be updated with what's happening in the class. There's Microsoft Learn. You can search Microsoft Learn on your system or your phone. You can create a free Microsoft Learn account. On Microsoft Learn account, you get to learn about Power BI. If you want to learn about Power Platform, you can learn about Power Platform. There are loads of resources you have access to on Microsoft Learn. Even Microsoft Excel, you have access to that. Then YouTube is also there for you. When I was learning, I just attend classes. In fact, when I learned Power BI, I was still school was still in session. Most times I don't attend classes. I watch the videos later, and after watching the videos, I get the data set and work on. If there's something I don't understand, I go to YouTube. I was very, very curious because I wanted to learn it. So if you don't spark your curiosity, if you don't get that curiosity, I'm sorry, you may not be able to learn as much, because what happens in online class is a lot of information is being loaded. You learn a lot. So after the class, you just decide to close your laptop. The moment you close the system and you drop it, everything you learn, it won't stick. It only gets to stick if you're doing continuous research and if you're practicing with data sets and all that. So you can learn on Microsoft Learn, and you can also use YouTube to help with your learning. And I talked about the Power BI service. If you are a data analyst and you're working on the Power BI desktop, I'm sorry, people may not get to see your work. You may just have to be screenshotting and sending, right? So Power BI service gives you access. When you publish to Power BI service, you have access to get a link to your dashboard, a link that you can share, and people will be able to go straight to your dashboard and also drill through the dashboard. If you have a lot of slicers there and they want to interact with your dashboard, that is where the link comes in. Sharing images will not help, right? So Microsoft has free access of developers accounts. What does this developer account gives you? It gives you access to Microsoft 365, which normally it's paid. But when you create a developer's account, you get it free. What's the feature? One of the features in this Microsoft 365 is you get access to Office 365, which is your Microsoft Excel, your Microsoft Word, and so on. Features I have in my Microsoft Excel, because I'm using Office 365, thanks to developers accounts. You don't have it on your normal Microsoft Excel you're using. Maybe you're using Excel 2019 or Excel 2016. Microsoft 365 is the big brother of all those ones. So you get access to your developer's mail and you have access to Office 365. This developer's mail that you get is what you can use to sign into Power BI service. So when you sign into Power BI service, you get the features of the Power BI service, you get to work on Power BI service, you get to share your dashboard, and you also get to embed dashboards in websites if you want to do that. Because if you want to build a portfolio after working on projects, you will need a live link to your Power BI dashboard, which if you don't have the developer's account, the developer's email, or you don't have access to Power BI service, you will not be able to do that. So does anyone have any questions so far before we go to Power BI interface and see what is happening there? Does anyone have a question? Yeah, Sulia, you can ask your question.
Hi, Sila. Thank you so much for this session. I just wanted to request if you could show us the difference between reports and dashboards. So probably like an example, because it's not very clear to me.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you very much.
I'll do that when we get to Power BI. Does anyone else have a question?
Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
My own is not just a question. Just I don't know if you can get access to the slides because I was trying to get some things, but it was fast enough, so I didn't really get to jot some things down.
Okay, I'll send the slides. I'll send the slides. But the thing is, most pages in the slides, I just get to do the explanation. I left bullet points in the slide. But I'll send the slides over.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll just try and open. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
So I'm going to open the Power BI. So this is my Power BI desktop. Like when you open your Power BI, still loading. Yeah, it always comes up with this prompt. One has my who's that? So when you open your Power BI, this is the interface. This is what you get at first. So you can just come here and exit this. So this is what your Power BI interface looks like. You're seeing add data to your reports because you've not added any data. So I'd say today we'll talk about the introduction and also how to import data in your Power BI. So importing data in your Power BI, there are tons of ways you can get data into your Power BI. There are hundreds of ways, but I'll just talk about the popular ones and the most important ones that we mostly use. So you can see these are various ways you can get data into your Power BI. You can either import Excel, text or CSV, .sml, JSON, a folder, or a PDF, and so on. So I'll talk about using Excel, CSV, TXT. CSV is basically CSV and TXT, the same way you do that. And I talk about getting data from the web, then connecting to your database. That's the SQL server. So it's either you click here, import data from Excel. This one is import from SQL server. This one is paste into a blank table. Try a sample data set. Now I'll start with this one. If you just want to experiment or work on hypothetical data or something, these are data that Power BI produce in Power BI templates. So if I just click on load sample data, it opens this navigator for me. Let me minimize this so I don't get in. Okay, where should I get this? Okay. So when I click on get data, the one for sample data set, this is what I have. Most of the time, this sheet one is always there, and it's most of the times is the duplicate of what you have in the top one, but sometimes it changes. So it's a good thing to always check if they are the same. Now, if I click on this financial, it gives me a preview of the data I'm working with. I'm seeing that, oh, this is segment, this is country, this is product, discount, discount band, and so on. Now, I know we talked about ETL. The point of extraction is you clicking on the source. Now, I are seeing cancel. I hope it, can you guys see it? This thing, I need to minimize it.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So when you click on load, it loads the data directly to your Power BI. But if it's a data set you still need to clean, you still need to organize and everything, that's when you click on the transform data. Now I want to check this sheet one if it's the same thing with this financial. I can click on this sheet one and I can see it's the same thing. This one is starting from government and ends in year. This is about financial. So it's basically the same thing. So I'll just click on just financial and I'll click on, let me click on load first. So when I click on load, you will see this prompt will not be here again because we've already loaded the data. Loading data to the model. 700 rows of data loaded. Okay. You see, the prompt here is gone. because I now have data in this Power BI. Now, this is where you get to see the data you're working with, the columns of the data you're working with. So I'm seeing data. If I click on this arrow, it will expand everything for me. So I get to see every column of the data I'm working with. Now, when I talked about the report view, the data view, and the model view, this is where they come into play. We are in the report view. That's why it's showing like this. I need to minimize. Are you guys seeing this Zoom stuff on the down? Hello?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yes.
Is the Zoom stuff displaying? Yes. I really need to get it to be small. I don't know why it's just so big. Okay, let it stay up here. So this is the desktop layout view, and this is the mobile view, mobile layout view. So maybe I want to design for mobile. And you click on this, it gets your report view in a mobile layout. So I'm just putting it back in the desktop layout. And we are talking about the report view, and we talked about the table view and the model view. Now this report view is, if I have a chart, it will display. Let me try and get one chart here. Let me do a bar chart, country, and sales. So this is report view. If I click on the table view, to take me to the table I have in this Power BI. So we are seeing what we have. We have the segment, the country, just like we saw it in that prompt. If I click on the model view, it shows me how the data is modeled. I only have one table here. That's why I'm only having this. If I have like 4 or 5 tables, everything be aligned, and you see how they connect with each other. So I'm going back to the report view. And I'm going to remove this data. We've talked about loading data from the sample data set, right? So now I'm removing the data so we can load from other source. This chart has disappeared because I've deleted the data I used to build it. So I'm just going to remove it. Now I have this prompt back. The only reason you get to see this prompt is when you don't have a data set in your Power BI. Now I want to import the data from an Excel workbook. I'll click on Excel workbook. I get to see only Excel file formats, so I can select the one I want to work on. So let's say I want to work on, so I don't get to open any. Okay, let me for this pastor. Yeah. It always will open this prompt for the ETL prompt, where you check whether you want to go straight and work with the data or you want to transform the data. So for this one, we'll be going to the transform data interface. Now this table has this data set has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables. So this return is replicating itself. Let me check returns. Okay, it's 5 tables. Return is duplicate is. So I'll click on others. I want others, and I click on people. I'll click on others. Others is duplicated too. Nice. So okay, let me see. This is people's. This is people's. Okay, this is the one I need. So I click on people's. This is others. another orders. So I'll just go with the one that doesn't have one. And I'll go with returns. And I'll click on transform data. So when I click on transform data, it opens the Power Query editor for me. Wish I can get it. Yeah. Yeah. It can't go further than this. This preview may be 96 days old. I think that was the last time I loaded this data set last. So I just want to remove this. So this is your Power Query editor interface. This is how it looks like. This is where you can transform your data. You can do a lot of data manipulations here. You can do data cleaning here. For the class for data cleaning and everything will be for next week. So it's just to show you that when you click on transform data, it moves you to Power Query. It's a different interface entirely. It's your Power BI. You can see that I have two Power BI prompts. This is my Power BI desktop, and this is my Power Query editor. Everything I'm doing here, once I'm done with this, I'll click on close and apply. It will now load the data on Power BI itself. So you're seeing they are working hand in hand. That's why you are seeing up here, it's writing Power Query editor. So let me just close this. Not now. So that's getting data with Excel. We talked about, let me discard this. Another way of importing data is CSV. It depends on the format of the data you have. Excel and CSV, they're almost the same thing. So CSV, Excel reads CSV data. So if I want to import a CSV file, I'll click on text CSV. Now what it does is only CSV files in my folder that it will show me. You see, I've seen .csv, .csv, .csv. But when I opened Excel, it's only opened .excel. Now, if I want to access this data set, I'll just click on open, and it will do the same thing. Bring out the navigator prompt for ETL, where I get to select either to transform the data or to load the data straight. Where I get to select either to transform the data or load the data straight. So if I click on transform data, I go to Power Query again. So now we want to talk about getting data via web scraping. Let me check a website out. Let me see a website I want to access. Okay. I want to go to Nigeria election 2019. Yeah. Now there's a table in this website. This is the table. There's another one, this again. So I want to access this table. I want to access this one. This one that has the name of all the candidates, their running mates, the party and vote. So I just need to come here and copy this website link. Can you guys hear me? Am I too fast?
We can hear you.
Okay. So you just need to copy the website link, and you come to your Power BI, and I click on get data web. Now it will ask me for the URL. I'll paste the URL I already have, and I'll click on OK. It asks me to confirm. Use anonymous access for this web. I say connect. The thing is, it's also take you to the navigator for the ETL navigator. Because you're accessing via the web, you have to be careful. You know the data, there are a lot of tables there. So you should know the table that is of concern to you, which we'll see here. Now, there are a lot of tables here. So I'll check this. This is not the one I want. This is not the one I want. I see this. This one is by state. This is not the one I want. I want the one that has the candidate name, the votes, the percentage. This is the one I want. So I'll just check this box here, and I'll click on transform data. So you see, I have that table that is on the web here in my Power BI now. I have the candidates, the running mates, the party, the votes, and the percent. You can see that everything is column 2, column 3, column 4, and the main columns are here. You can this is supposed to be next week class, but let's do that. You can come here, this table figure that we are seeing here. You right click and you select use first row as header, and everything adjusts for you. You're not seeing the candidate, the running mate, the party, the votes, and the percentage. Everything has climbed up, and the others are where they're supposed to be. So that's it about getting data set from the web. You have to know the web address you need it business. You have to know the web address, then get the link. That solves every other thing for you. Then the last option we are going to be looking at before we call it a day is getting data from your SQL server, from your database. So this SQL server I have here. So I'll click on SQL server. If I have a data loaded in my SQL database, I don't have to download the database to have access to the data. So when I click on it, it's brought this prompt for me. So it's asking me for my server name. So it said you can also enter a port number and database optional. Maybe you have like 4 or 5 database in your SQL. And instead of loading the whole instead of loading the server first to see the database, and you know the direct name of the database, you can just put it here. Maybe you have a lot of database in your SQL. So this server name is basically, I will go to my SQL server, scroll past it. So I'll go to my SQL Server Management Studio. So the moment I click on it, I just need my server name. Only the server name. That works. Because when you open your Management Studio, one of the first prompts it opens for you is to display your server name before you get access to your database. So is that server? This is it. So this is my SQL server. I need to connect to my database. Now this is the server name for this my SQL. So I just need to copy this. Then I'll come here and I paste this. I'll click OK. Now it has opened the database I have here. I have this AdventureWorks database. So I can just click on it and see tons of table. The one I'm interested in that I want to work on. Maybe I want to work on the salesperson. I want to work on the sales table, sales individual customer, the salesperson, stores with demographics and everything. It's still loading. This one is loading like the individual custom. So this person.address. So this is like the table I have on this database. If I want to load everything, of course, everything is going to be huge. So you either load directly or you transform data. So I think I've covered the get data part for today. Does anyone have a question? You can also put data in blank table like this if you have your data yourself and you want to just type your data. Instead of, you can type data, add column, add row. You don't always get to use this, but you can always create your own table. Does anyone have a question?
There's a question on the chat.
Yes, I have a question. Okay. Can we import data this same way from Postgres? I haven't tried this, but my Power BI is a Microsoft tool. It will always try to promote Microsoft SQL. So the one they always have here is their Microsoft. But if you have the server name for your Postgres, you can also try this, but I doubt. I don't know yet if it supports Postgres, because they're always pushing and promoting their own product. Does anyone have another question?
Yeah, I was following you to
Okay.
get data, but I got stuck somewhere. From the first get data from financials, that is the sample data. When I got there, um I didn't know what happened next. I couldn't navigate again to load data. I did the option to load data was blank. And then when I also tried to get data from Excel, the system asked me to um connect my Power BI service. So by inputting my email. So I inputted my email. It suggested I input my Microsoft's email. So I did, and but then it says the system did not allow me or something like that. So it couldn't load. I don't know why.
Yes, to access data, you can, if that prompt comes out, you can always remove it. But I think that's somewhere I skipped to sign. So I've signed out of my Power BI service. I said we are going to do that on Power BI service. This is my Chrome. Where's my Chrome? So this is how Power BI service looks like. So that was why I talked about the Microsoft developers accounts. The email it's asking you for is not your private email. It's asking you for your developer's email. So if you put your private email, it's not going to work. It's trying to connect you to connect to your account that can link you to Power BI service. That way you have free flow of work as you are doing, but you don't need to have access to Power BI service to be able to get data. When you click on it, you might get the prompt to sign in. You can always ignore that prompt and work on it. But if now I've signed out of my Power BI account, I can click on this. Is the prompt is bringing for you, right?
Yes.
Now, this prompt, the prompt is not asking for your personal email address. You see, it's saying Power BI desktop and Power BI service work better together. Sign in to enhance your collaboration and access organizational content. So if I want to sign in, it's not my personal email that I will use. I've created a developer's email account that on Microsoft. It always have on Microsoft.com email address. Another way you can access it is if you apply for the MLSA, Microsoft Lens Ambassador. So they give you an ambassador email address that you can use to access it. Those are two ways. Is that you have a Microsoft account, maybe you're working for, or your organization subscribed to Microsoft 365 and has given you the email to use. There are organizations that subscribe and give out email, but this developer's account is like a hack to getting around with it. It's free. You just have to sign up. I'll send the link. I'll send the link. The link is on the slide, but I'll also send it to the group. The link is a video. The video has steps on how you can create a Microsoft developers account. If you want to use the Office 365 that comes with it, you have to uninstall your the Microsoft Office you already have. If not, it will not install. If you uninstall your Microsoft Office, it goes with your Excel, it goes with your Word, it goes with your PowerPoint and your Access and all that. But when you install 365, it comes with the latest version. The 365 is always an advanced version of the normal Excel you are using. Those are the paid ones. It gives you access to cloud. So instead of saving to your system, you can always work on the cloud and save in the cloud. So I'm just giving you the benefits of having that developer's account. So now, if you put the email, it will get you here. Now, this is the email I used to sign in. I'll just continue with this developer's account. The developer's account always comes with on Microsoft.com. So I'll just click on continue. And you see, it will bring, it's still loading. It will just bring your name up here. So to solve that one, you have to get the Microsoft developer account. When I started, I didn't know about the developer account. I was using Novi Pro until Novi Pro decided to shame me one day, and it was a date to the deadline of the hackathon I was working on. The link was not working. So I was desperate. That was when I found out that Microsoft actually has developer accounts that I don't have to be depending on Novi Pro, but it's the one I can manage and use on my own, right? So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
And the person that talked about Postgres, the link has been shared to the chat. You can use that too. Does anyone else have another question? Okay, Linda. Hi, Linda. Okay. Yes, I can.
I want to get something straight. If I'm
You want?
I want to understand something. If I'm using Power BI
Okay.
to analyze the data, will I still get the same answer as when I'm using SQL or Excel?
As when you're using SQL or Excel.
Will I still get the same answer?
Yes, you will still get the same answer. If you model your data well, if the same answer you're getting in SQL, if the answer you're getting in SQL is different from the one you're getting in Excel and Power BI, something is wrong somewhere. It's probably from the way you model the data or from the way you're plotting the chart or something.
Okay, but is it still the same with SQL?
Yeah?
Is it still the same with SQL?
Yes, I said it should. It must. In fact, not even should. It must give you the same. A lot of answers, they are always the same. If we were given project to work on, and you're doing the project on SQL, and I'm doing it on Power BI, if for the same question, our metric is different. Maybe we are looking at total number of companies, and me, I'm getting 30 companies and you are getting 100 companies. Something is wrong somewhere. So
Okay.
it should always give you the same metric.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any more question?
Please, I do.
Okay.
I got a data set from Mary Skill and downloaded it, but while I am on the Power BI, try to get data, I couldn't find the data sets, so I don't know why.
I think the problem should be the data set you downloaded. What's the file format?
I don't know, but
Because
I
if
don't
you
know.
downloaded a CSV format and you are getting data via Excel, you won't see it.
So how will I know the file formats?
The file format, when you save let me show you. When you save file on your system, it always ends in that format, right? This is my document. This .pdf is showing that it's a PDF file. If it's an Excel, this is CSV, so it's showing .csv. It's a CSV file. So for Excel, it will show you .xlsx or .xlx. That one is Excel file. So it depends on the file format.
Okay, thank you.
So if the file format is CSV, you should be looking at getting data via the CSV format. If the file format is Excel, you should be looking at getting it via Excel format.
All right.
And again, is to know where you saved it. And if you're trying to get it, but you're on your documents, but instead of being on your downloads, that's another factor, right?
I did check both, so well, I'll still check again.
Yeah, check the format and
Okay, thank you.
okay. Any more question before we wrap up for today? So next week we'll be moving to Introduction to Power Query. It's going to be a practical class. So we're basically going to do data cleaning in Power Query. And what we are going to do next week, it applies the same knowledge you use here. You should probably brush up your knowledge on Excel too. You need Excel and you need SQL. All of them, they are complementing each other. If you did Power Query in Excel, it would have been a foundation for the Power Query you would do in Power BI. But the one we'll do next week on Power Query in Power BI, it should be able to carry you for the Power Query knowledge you need in Excel. So the same way, you should also research on how you use Power Query in Excel. You should probably practice that too before the next class so that the interface won't be too new to you. Because I remember when I talked about this session, I said you should get prior knowledge on Excel. If you know Excel, Power BI interface will not be too new to you. If you know your Excel interface very well, especially that Power Query side, you're just carrying the knowledge you have to Power BI. And you just see that you have more features instead of the limited features you have in Excel. So next week, we are doing introduction to Power Query, and that's it today for today's class. Okay, I'm seeing that two people are raising hands. Hi, Linda. Okay.
Sorry, Sylvia, because I'll be dropping off. I just want to say a very big thank you for your time today. Thank you so much. And for everyone who joined, please go to the group after the call. Be a good person and say thank you to Sylvia, because there are still like 4 classes and we will do this every time. It's our tradition. We are grateful people in this community. We are people that if you are not a grateful person, you will learn how to be grateful. So please, if you have joined this class, I'm begging, go to the group and say thank you to Sylvia for our time today and for what you've learned. I also want to say that for those of you that are new, because we've started this data analysis journey since is it August or September? I can't even remember. And we started with Excel. From Excel, we moved to SQL. So the way the structure has been is that there has been like a curriculum, right, to get you here so that you not be lost when we are doing Power BI. So, but I understand some people joined later, they got to know the group about the group later and all that. So what I would advise you is is because people don't read information sometimes. You just join the group and you want the admins to do all the work for you. Some of you ask questions that we have addressed. Please, who is that person that is not muted? Because me, I'll remove you from the group. Please mute yourself. As I was saying, we'll drop update on the group. Some of you don't read. You come and ask the same question again. You are not paying us, so we have the right to tell you that you should go and read the information. That's the number 1 thing. Number 2 thing, go to the group description. There is a roadmap to data analysis. If you download it, for those of you that didn't join us at the beginning, you will see the links to the classes that we have done in the past. So you can catch up with that. For the Excel, we shared an Excel link, right, where you can, if you are new to Excel, you don't know anything about Excel, and all of these things that Sylvia have mentioned that you need to know from Excel. There's a course on that roadmap that you can take, and it's just 2 hours. So before next Saturday, you should not say that you don't have 2 hours to give. If it is that you will not sleep from 12 to 2 a.m., you don't have to make time for what you care about. So find that course, take it. It's just a 2 hours course so that by next class, you are not lost. Because I want to assure you that there's little to what she can do. She will bring the curriculum, given that, and there's a prerequisite that you're supposed to, there's a knowledge base that you're supposed to have. It's like teaching somebody algebra math, but the person does not even know what 2 plus 2 is. So if you are new to the group, go and and maybe this is your first class in the group, for instance, go and catch up on Excel. At least you don't even have to do the SQL classes for now, but the Excel one, try to do the course. It's a self-paced course that is just 2 hours. Try to do it so that next week, for yourself, for your sake, you are able to carry yourself along with the class and not just be lost, right? So that's also one thing I wanted to say. But apart from that, Sylvia, I think you have 2 people raising up their hands, so you can just take their questions. And I think I'll be leaving, but thank you so much, and I'll see you next week again. And like I mentioned, I know I see some of you, saying thank you. So thank you for doing that. Please also go to the group and try to, just tell her thank you. That will also let people know that they are missing out for those that did not join. Tell them how the class was very awesome, what you have learned from the class, if possible, and tell them they've missed. So please kindly just do that on the group. Yeah, I'll drop it here. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. So I have 2 people raising their hands. Let me start with Linda. Hi,
Thank
Linda.
you very much. Okay, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say a very big thank you for this class. This is my first time. I appreciate
welcome.
your effort. God bless you so much for us. And also,
You're
I want
welcome.
to ask for something. I don't know if it's possible.
Okay, what is it?
I don't know if it's actually possible to be kind of giving us assignments as we finish teaching. Like, you understand? Just give us assignments so that will carry us to next week. Is to keep our hands kind of baked to see that we are doing something.
Okay, I'll try.
Submission.
Next week is on Power Query. So after that, I'll try and give you the data set you can work on and come up with data cleaning techniques around it.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Julia, you can unmute now.
Sylvia, thank you so much once again. I just wanted to remind you that you've not answered my question. So
Okay. Oh, what was the question?
I said, could you please show us a visual of report and dashboard so we can have a graphical understanding of it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is Power BI, right? So I'm just going to open one of the reports. Most of the times, everything you work on in Power BI is reports. Dashboard is only recognized at on the Power BI service. Or like I said, a dashboard is a one-page report that summarizes everything that you've done, right? So the reports can be 2-paged, 3-paged, 4-paged. So myself, mostly what I work on is reports. Like I try to see if I can show up stages, or let's say the insight I've done, I find a way to classify them and group them in different pages. But I haven't really done anything on dashboards, but I just see people's dashboard. I don't know if you people know of Tina on Twitter. So can you guys hear me? If you know of Tina on Twitter, or if you've seen any of her dashboard, can you wave hand in the comment section?
Comment. I know Tina on Twitter. Tina Okonkwo.
Okay. Yes, so most of the work she do put out there is what we call dashboard. She gets to make it very big. It's like a banner, some of them gets to be very big. I've not had time to work on dashboard because most of the dashboards, most of the reports or dashboards I've been working on competition, and they have to make it strict that they give us strict number of strict measurements to use, and that measurement they are giving us is standard dashboard size, standard dashboard size, a page size. So I can't really make a dashboard out of it. So it's just better I do a report. Now this here is a report. What I have here is a report, because if I come to my Power BI service that I published this from I have a lot of stuff. This is me trying to convert this to a dashboard and it's not opening. So let's leave this. You see type is writing dashboard for this one, report for this one. Now click on this. This is a report. It's more than a page. But you can call each page of a report a dashboard, right? Like the main difference between a report and a dashboard, if you call something a dashboard, it should be is one page. Once it's more than one page, just call it a report. If you find a way to summarize all your reports, everything you have, all your insights in a page, you call that a dashboard. You can pin it on your Power BI service and call it a dashboard. Or when it's like this one I have here, this is a 5-page report. This is the cover page. This is the report I built for the last hackathon that won me the Angel Hack money. So I found a way to group everything I've worked on, found a way to group it into pages. So if I come to this type distribution, I'm talking about everything about the distribution of the Pokemon types. If I'm going to the cluster, I'm talking about cluster. Okay, what I did in this dashboard is I found a way. Other people were just doing basic this page now is what other people were doing, like basic Pokemons, how many Pokemons has this type. But I found a way to do cluster analysis. Cluster analysis is cluster is a term on statistics where you get to group data sets into different groups. You split them into different groups depending on their characteristics or depending on the features you have. So I took the battle metrics of each Pokemon and I got to split them into group Pokemons into groups depending on how strong they are in defense, or how strong they are in speed, or how fast they are in speed, in hit points and everything. That's why everything I now got, I put it under cluster. So this is like this is a report that I'm making. This is the cover page. This is what I have under type distribution. Then I clustered the data sets. I split them into 6 clusters, and I'm able to see which Pokemon is stronger in speed, which Pokemon is stronger in attack. This is the edge statistics gives me. If another person working on this data set, if they don't do this cluster, they don't have this they don't have anything about this page. They don't have anything about cluster. They just do the basic things. So instead of doing basic things, you always get to explore. So that's why I always like working with reports instead of working with dashboard. I think okay. Maybe in our next class, I'll display one of Tina's dashboard. She found a way to like split the dashboard into one hiking dashboard that she did. That one is a dashboard. So when you split I'm still repeating what I'm saying to like echo the difference. So a dashboard is a single paged report. I don't know if I make sense. A dashboard is a single paged report, but when it is more than one page, it is a report. Do you get that, Sulia?
Yeah, it's very, very clear.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very thank you very much, Sylvia.
Okay, I think that ends the class for today. We're taking more 20 minutes. Does anyone else have question? Okay, that's it for today. See you guys next week, Saturday. Please, if you've not installed Power BI, make sure to install it. If you're having issues, you can always ask in the group and reach out for help.
All right, thank you, Sylvia. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.